A Republican Senate push to nullify the tariffs. Well, you do not support that.
I do not think that would even pass. This is in Section 232. You'd have to have both committees, the House and the Senate, pass it. If it gets vetoed by the president, it'd have to be override.
House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy sending a message to congressional Republicans seeking to block President Trump's tariffs. Reaction now from former Reagan economic advisor Art Laffer. Art, how should these tariffs be implemented?
Well, I don't think they should be implemented very much because I really think they're basically a negotiation stance for the president to allow him to renegotiate NAFTA and the other treaties, especially with Europe, because Europe is awful on this stuff. But NAFTA needs to be renegotiated badly, and I think this is his ace in the hole to threaten tariffs, to get them to come back to the table and make honestly a fair, even trading field that we really need badly.
Art, I'm with you with that, but does it hurt his negotiations to have so many Republicans and establishment Republicans screaming at the top of their voices that this is going to start a trade war, almost insinuating that somehow we would lose a trade war or that other countries have us bent over a barrel?
Yeah, he's been criticized by everyone on so many policies, Charles, and he hasn't buckled in under any of them, and he's been the most successful president I have ever seen, and I think probably the most successful president ever in the first 4 years of office, let alone the first year and a half. It's just amazing how well he's done with so much opposition from Democrats, Republicans, everyone. I think he's masterfully handled all of these negotiations and all of these policies, and obviously, you know, I'm a free trader, Charles. You know I am totally, and I don't want to see tariffs, but I don't mind seeing the president threaten tariffs to get better deals. And these deals are awful. I was very involved in TPP. And, you know, they took off the table all the serious negotiations that should have been done. For example, non-tariff barriers, currency manipulation. All of those weren't even discussed. They were pre-decided not to be discussed, which is just wrong, wrong, wrong. And I know NAFTA is equally replete with these types of problems.
And, of course, you know, President Trump, he already instituted the higher tariffs on soft lumber out of Canada. So I think the negotiating partners know that, to your point, he means business, even if it means, hey, enacting these tariffs, you know, knowing that there could be pain, knowing that threats out there. I think they take them a lot more seriously than a lot of folks in D.C. do.
Yeah, you know, and that's the way we wanted to. You know, with Donald Trump, you don't need to take Donald Trump literally, but don't be a fool and not take him seriously. He is a very serious person, and he's a phenomenal president in economics in his first year and a half in office. It's just amazing how well he's done.
Yeah, I think he negotiates with that businessman sort of thing, as opposed to, I don't know, the diplomacy school that all of these folks go to, and they have 27 rounds of talks that last 15 years.
Know. Isn't it disgusting? Isn't it disgusting? I mean, and then they negotiate, I will be there. Okay, that's 5,000 sign-offs and that. This guy knows how to negotiate, and I think he knows how to negotiate better than almost any other businessman as well. It's not just that he is a businessman. He's a really successful negotiator businessman and has done a phenomenal job. And I'm awestruck by him.
Well, he's driven some hard bargains in his lifetime. Let me ask you about this economy, because I think we're starting to bear the fruits of some of those tough negotiations. That jobs number on Friday, Art, what do you make of it, and what does it suggest for the rest of the year?
I don't want to jinx anything yet, Charles. I really don't, but I thought it was a nice number on Friday. I expect those numbers will be higher 6 months from now than they are now. The real day that matters is on the first Tuesday after the second Monday in November, when we have the elections. If we have economic growth, we will have a very successful off election. If not, we'll have to wait until 2020. But by then, we should be rock and rolling. And I am very optimistic, and I like our side of the aisle far better than the other side. I think the Democrats are going to be fighting a defensive game, and that's not what they're good at.
Yeah, I mean, if it ultimately comes down to wallets and pocketbooks, certainly the Dems are going to have to figure something out, because the regular folks out there are excited about this market and the economy. 800,000 people don't enter the jobs market in 1 month. If they don't think that's the ultimate sign of excitement, Art, tell me about it.
There you go. Well, you made this point before, Charles. That was really neat. Someone said the unemployment rate's so low that there's no sort of residual there for people to come out of the unemployment rolls. It's too tight. And you made the point that the participation rate is really low and has plenty of room for people to enter the labor force that hadn't been there. I remember watching you do that with Stewart, and you were so right on that point, and you're seeing it right now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Art. And by the way, the U6 number, not to get too technical, shows room too. There's room for growth, and we're getting it. Thank you very much, Art. You're one of the best.
Thanks, Charles. You're the best.